Good afternoon, YouTube. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Welcome back to the channel, JPM.Cuisine. Today for you, we're gonna be looking at my Christmas list for 2020. Every year I usually do a Christmas channel video, and so this is going to be sort of like a wish list, stocking stuffer type list, things of that nature. If you don't have these knives and you're thinking about picking up something for Christmas, these are usually a good deal to pick up, and I try to keep the price down. Not everything on the list is going to be sort of at the low end, but you'll see some things that range throughout. All right, so let's get into this. The first thing on the list is my Yaxell curved 6-inch curved fillet. It's by Dragonfire, which I think comes from Apogee, but it's a Yaxell made knife. It's BD1N, made in Japan. It's 6-inch. It's got the curved edge on it. It's a 6-inch sort of fillet or boning knife, if you will. This is what I use for prepping pretty much all my barbecues. And so from prepping pork butts, ribs, briskets, whatever it is, this is the knife I'm using. I really like that curve and that tip. It gives me a little bit more precision on sort of some of the cut work, and it's sturdy enough and long enough that I can even do something like St. Louis style ribs. So if I want to trim some ribs for St. Louis style, it's got enough of an edge length on it that I can get there. I can get in under the membrane, trim off any kind of fat, do some sort of precision sort of tip work, if you will. And so this knife has been a wonderful knife for me to use. I've been using it for years now, and I really dig it. This is my #1 go-to knife whenever I'm prepping for barbecue. All right, next one on the list is, it's a Mercer Culinary Renaissance 8-inch chef knife with the Granton or scallop edge. This is an X50 CR MOV15. It's a German steel. It's got Delrin handle, rounded spine. This one is my daily driver. This is one I use most of the time. I've got a little block set up on my counter, and this is the knife I reach for most of my cutting needs. This one comes in, I think the price has gone up since I've first reviewed it. It's coming in at, I believe, at almost $90 right now on Amazon. I'll include all the links for all of these and the prices in the description so you can see what they are. But this one has been a workhorse for me. It's about 230 grams. It's an 8-inch blade. A pretty good balance on it. Nice use. I like the belly curvature on it. Gives me a little bit more rock. But this has been a solid workhorse for me for most of my kitchen needs. All right, next one. Here we have the Mercer Asian line. This is the 8-inch chef knife, or the Chinese chef knife, which is a cleaver or a vegetable cleaver. This one has a rounded spine on it as well, a full Santoprene handle, and I have been using this one for everything that I do, from stir fry or whatnot, but this has been a joy to use, easy to sharpen, easy to keep sharp. Have no issues with this one. The handle's comfortable. It may not be much to look at in terms of a cleaver. Most of you might see sort of a Santoprene handle and kind of shy away from it, but it's comfortable. It's got good texture on it. It's kind of a faux wood grain texture on it, but it has been very comfortable, very solid for use. For anything that I'm sort of doing in the kitchen that requires kind of cleaver or vegetable work, this has been my go-to. All right, next on the list is this one right here. This is the 12-inch ceramic rod. It's a honing rod by Mercer. It's got a mixture between a poly and a rubber or Santoprene type handle for that grip. But this is a ceramic honing rod. I prefer this over steel because I feel like I get a cleaner edge whenever I'm aligning my edges on it. And this is the one I go to. Now, it's a little bit more fragile than a steel rod, so if you get one of these, you want to be a little bit more careful with it. You're not going to just throw it in the bag because they can crack. But man, this one has been with me for a while. I've been using it for maybe over a year, maybe 2 years or so, and I've really fallen in love with this one. This is my go-to for any kind of honing, for any knife that I own, be it VG10, be it German X50, whatever it is. I use a ceramic rod more than I'll use a steel rod, or a honing steel, if you will. All right, next is my 5-inch utility knife. This came in one of the box sets that I've had It's a X50 CRMOB 15 steel as well. Very similar. It's a Renaissance style, the same Delrin handle. But this has been sort of my primary knife. If you watch Jacques Pepin, when he's doing any kind of prep, specifically with like shallots or something like that, this is a nice knife to have. You can do, it's a little bit longer than a paring knife. Paring is usually a 3.5 inch. This is a 5 inch. But man, you can get a little bit more length on it. You don't have to pull out the chef knife to do a lot of the cutting. You can still do some handwork with it. But this has been a great knife that I use quite a bit, even for opening up packages and stuff, food packages, not my Amazon boxes. All right. So the next one, if you've seen my channel on Instagram, I do a lot of barbecue. And so I cook on pellet grills and do brisket and things of that nature. And so I'm always using, you know, sort of a long slicer. And this is the Mercer. It's similar to a Renaissance. It's got a Delrin style handle. It's not necessarily the same with the bolster, but this is their, I believe it's an 11-inch slicer with a Granton edge. This one comes in at about $28 or $27, I believe. I like the scallops on it. They're raised up high enough so you can continue to sharpen the edge. A lot of the other slicers that I've used, the scallops go all the way pretty much to the edge. And so it's kind of a pain to kind of sharpen or hone. But this one has been really nice, very sharp, very thin kind of profile, has been very thin for use. It's not a full tang, but you don't really need a full tang on a slicer. You're just doing, you know, long sort of pull motions on it. And so push and pull, I guess. But it's been a fairly standard knife that I use for a lot of my barbecue slicing. Just run of the mill, grab it, use it. It's kind of like a beater for me. But I think at $27, you can probably pick up multiple of these and, you know, just keep them in your bag, especially if you do any kind of competition barbecue cooking. All right. The next one is one of the higher end knives. This is the Mercer MX3. It is a VG10 steel. It has the same or similar Delrin style handle as the Renaissance. We still have a rounded spine on it. This is a Gyuto or a chef's knife, and it is the Sanmai or 3-layer VG10. And so the MX3 is the high-end knife line for Mercer. This one actually comes in at just under $100, $97, but I've been using this one. This is actually a 10-inch. They've got a 9.5 inch. They've got an 8-inch, but the 10-inch is actually, I think, one of the lower priced ones right now. So if you're looking for a 10-inch style knife, long knife, or a Gyuto, I would definitely recommend picking up the MX3 from Mercer. It's not a huge investment, and I really dig the quality of this knife, the way it feels. It's kind of one of my higher end knives that I actually use in the kitchen quite often. So this is one where I want some long slices. This is what I'm going for, maybe a little bit more in terms of show. All right, next we have, this one is kind of a unique knife. This is the Dalstrong. It's a Shogun series. It's a Sujihiki. It's a hybrid style in terms of the scallops. It's more of a checker pattern. These are like sort of square scallops, and so it's kind of unique, but it works very well for what it does. It's kind of short. That would be the only one flaw that I have with this one, is it's kind of short. I don't know if they make anything longer of this style, but this is a really, really nice slicer. This one, if you're not in an area where you have a lot of room, this one is one that I always take with me in my knife bag. I really enjoy the way it feels. The handle's more squared. It's got a G10 style handle, and this one I think comes in at maybe around $120. It's an AUS 10V, but if you can pick up, if you have a smaller area and you need a nice little slicer, you want one that looks really good, I'd recommend picking up the Dalstrong Shogun series Sujihiki, 10.5 inch. All right, what's next? This one. You guys have probably seen this one for a while. This one is one that constantly gets a lot of comments. People are always asking about this, comparing it against the Victorinox and other type of knives that are entry level, or what they call beater knives. This is the Millennia 8-inch. This is actually one of the color models. They have multiple colors. Obviously, if you're in a restaurant situation, you want to have special colors depending on what type of foods you're preparing. things that may have any kind of allergies or allergens related, you might use different knives. And so color coding knives is something that they use for that. In your home, you just might have a color preference. And so it's a mix between a poly handle with Santoprene, very good seam transition between. It's not any kind of channels or anything like that. So no food's or particles of food is gonna get stuck in there. We've got these raised bumps for a little bit more texture for grip. The Santoprene is really grippy, really easy to sharpen. It's an X30 CR13. And this thing I think comes in at about $18, so under $20, sub 20 knife. You can pick up a whole bunch, especially if people take them from you or you lose them or things of that nature. These are always nice to keep on hand. If you're breaking bones or anything like that, probably chicken bone. It's not going to chip on you. You might see more denting or kind of bending on it, but nothing too major. But this is a really nice beater, really easy to sharpen. If you want to learn how to sharpen on it, this is probably a really good knife to begin with. And at $20, you should probably buy 2 or 3 of them, no problem, right? All right, next is probably the most expensive of the knives that I've, or not knives, but this is the most expensive item that I kind of have on this list. It's something that I took with me during the summer on my trip to Colorado. And this is the Mercer travel bag, okay? And so this is what they call the Culinary Commander. It is a 4-pocket, meaning it's got 4 main zipper pocket areas on it. It holds, I believe, 45 knives. It's got Velcro in it, so you don't have to worry about knives moving around if you don't have any kind of sheaths or any kind of covers for them. They can fit in and you can strap them down. It may cut into the material here, but with the Velcro, I haven't had that issue. And I don't always have a protector for all the knives that I own. And so with this one, it fits in pretty nice. You can really get it cinched down in there. It's not really going to go and bump into other things. And then if you use the other side, you can really get it locked down in there. If it's something that needs a little bit more protection, you have the fold over to protect the knives from each other, and then also something in here. So honing rods, long slicer, things of that nature will go in here. And then in the smaller pockets in the front, you've got a little bit more. You've got this is a pocket that I keep aprons in and towels, so if there's something that you need to carry with you, this bag has it all. Now it's leather, it looks pretty nice, but it comes in at about $319 or $320 or so. So it's really high end, but I mean, if you get a bag like this, you're probably not gonna be using any other bag for your stuff. And so you've got mesh pockets here, where you can keep spare protectors, maybe some thermometers. For me, I use plating sets or tweezers, whatever it is that you have. Anything can pretty much fit in these pockets right here. But it's a bit of an investment. It is the holiday, but this knife bag has been my go-to for my travel. Everything I need to carry with me, pretty much I can staff anything in there. And for a master ring, you can even put in all those bottles of cognac brandy that you want. So you don't have to worry about that. But what did he call it? The Rolls Royce of bags? He's right. That was one of the best bags I've ever seen in my life. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's kind of quick, rushing through all of these. I'll cover everything that I have that I went over in the description, so you can see sort of links to them if you want to buy them, or you want to check them out yourself. You can look at all of them. But those are sort of the 10 things that I think have stood out the most to me over the years of testing all these knives and gear. And if you guys are looking for some last-minute shopping gifts or some last-minute gift ideas for your loved one or somebody who's into cooking, I think this range covers pretty much everybody from entry to high-end professional style, or even anybody who has professional kitchen use or experience might find some of these things pretty useful. Some of them are kind of unique, niche type, but all of them have had a use for me in my kitchen. And so with that, I wish you guys happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we'll see you in the next one.